Happy Labor Day from Melrose Mountain, Tryon, North Carolina. Just thinking about how we can live our lives either positively or optimistically or negatively or as Christians. And I watched nature this morning. You may see the tripod there in the background. I've been taking pictures of the birds coming into the feeders, and I watched the hummingbirds coming into the nectar feeders, which a couple of them were empty. See, I think they have a positive attitude, an optimistic attitude that since there's always been nectar there, there's going to be nectar there now. At the same time, I watched the squirrels jumping from tree to tree, 20, 30 feet up. They're gathering acorns. They're running down the tree and storing them in their nests. Positively thinking there's coming a winter and there won't be any acorns and they better store away some food. Optimistically, obviously, that they're going to be able to survive the winter through the storing of the food. And so I started thinking about that as it relates to Christian life. An optimist is one that looks at life through rose-colored glasses. When he starts to find all of his clothes not fitting, he believes that the laundry must be shrinking all of his clothes. An optimist. A woman who sees a bee or a housefly in the house figures he's on his way out. That's an optimistic person. Pessimistic person is a person that might come to a pastor and say, I'm not very happy in life. And the pastor says, well, you need to read Norman Vincent Peale and you need to become very positive in everything that you do. So the pessimist goes and reads Norman Vincent Peale and he comes back and pastor said, how did you do? And the negative or pessimistic person says, well, I feel like I'm going to fail any test that you give me. Positively, going to fail it. And I haven't been feeling real well, so I'm positively sure I'm going to die. And pastor says, that's not good. You're still pretty pessimistic. And he says, I'm positive that tomorrow is going to be worse. You see, an optimist is great, except that it's not realistic. A pessimist is sad because he can only see the negative things of life. We need to contrast that with a Christian who perhaps has really come to a place of a good personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And he has an optimistic view overall, perhaps realistic about the fact that negative things will come in anybody's life. And I heard two cute jokes. One was that you should always borrow money from a pessimist because he doesn't expect to get it back. And the second one was about an optimist and a pessimist that was in a train tunnel, a very narrow train tunnel, very little room for they and a train to be in the tunnel at the same time, and they were lost. All of a sudden, the optimist says, I see light at the end of the tunnel. The pessimist says, it's probably a freight train coming our way. Well, a Christian, if you read Psalm 66, verse 1, says, shout for joy. Psalm 66:2 says, sing glory to his name. Psalm 66, 3 and 4 says, we have an awesome God and we should sing praises to him. And I told Lois, I said, there's sometimes when things are just so good that I just want to break into song. She said, you wouldn't have to break into song if you had the key. Well, what is it to be an optimist but realistic in Jesus? It takes us back to my favorite verse. Probably second favorite verse, because my first favorite is it is finished. Everything that could be done for me was done for me on the cross. But probably my second favorite verse is John 16:33. Jesus is speaking and he says, these things I have spoken to you that in me you may have peace. Now listen, that's not all it says. In the world you'll have tribulation, but take courage. I've overcome the world. You see, that's an optimistic, realistic look at life in Jesus. Now, I hope you're asking yourself, what things have I spoken to you? Because Jesus started out by saying, these things I've spoken to you. Well, Jesus was very realistic. He talked about relationships before this, and he talked about the fact that he would have to go to the cross and die for us, and that there would be a time of persecution for those that were left behind, a time of scattering. So the verse makes a lot more sense at that point when you think about what things he's spoken. He's saying, have a peace, because I've overcome the world. You may go through some tribulation, but you can take courage, because I've overcome the world. You know what I would say in my PSV translation? Likely it's not going to be easy, but we win in the end. And we can sing his praises. We can be positive in him. We can shout for joy because we have an awesome God. And we know that we can sing his praises. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.